Hey there, welcome to SequenceCheck. Today, we're diving into the 2024 movie, Fly Me to the Moon. This film, directed by the ever-busy Greg Berlanti and starring Scarlett Johansson, Channing Tatum, and Woody Harrelson, takes us back to 1969 when the US and the Soviet Union were racing to see who could put a man on the moon first. NASA's working on the Apollo 11 mission, especially after the failure of Apollo 1, to send astronauts like Neil Armstrong to the moon. The movie has a bunch of layers, and that's what I liked about it. There's a political layer that touches on the Cold War tension and President Nixon's promise to get an American on the moon by the end of the decade. Then there's a historical layer about what was happening inside NASA during Apollo 11, similar to the Artemis project, which has always left people with tons of questions. The story also follows a woman with killer marketing skills who can convince NASA engineers to do anything, like installing Windows.
The hammer, take your stupid belts off and get back to testing. On the move.
And of course, there's the romantic angle between Kelly and Cole. Kelly's all about lying and cheating her way to success, while Cole's super focused on his work and pretty serious. This contrast between them really spices up the story. The movie doesn't go too deep into any of these layers and keeps things entertaining. It even throws in some comedy, and honestly, I think it works well. The story flows nicely, although I wouldn't have minded if they dug a bit deeper in some parts. Maybe adding about 10% more runtime would have given the story that extra depth. Of course, Fly Me to the Moon has its goofs, like when Cole and Mo meet for the first time. They don't really make it clear that they haven't met before. Or when, after the spacecraft launches, they hand over control to Houston, which is wrong because, in reality, the Kennedy Space Center was in charge of the Apollo 11 launch. Oh, and Henry Smalls with his unshaven beard. NASA wouldn't have allowed that back then. One of the things I liked about the movie was its longer ending, better than those open or rushed ones. I really enjoyed watching this movie because of its storytelling, solid acting, flawless direction, and of course, Scarlett Johansson's presence. I'd give it a 7 out of 10. What do you think?